growing up in the church myself and being a Christian myself, I realize now looking back on it is I spent a lot of my life single, a lot of my 20s single, and singleness always felt like within a church setting or even within my friend groups or my family, like a disease needing to be healed. It felt like I had a problem with me that other people recognized and were wondering how quickly I could cure myself of this disease that was singleness. And as I began to grow and start to understand myself more, I realized that singleness is actually a beautiful gift at times.
He was the star of the 20th season of ABC's The Bachelor, after appearing on the 11th season of The Bachelorette. I'm talking about the one and only Ben Higgins. He's an American reality television star, and he's with me here today on CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. I'm David Sams. This is going to be fun. This is a little different. Maybe Ben can give me some tips, okay? You know, I always wonder, how do these guys get on these shows? It's not that I expect to get on one of these shows, but and I don't think that they have the Bachelor for guys my age. So, you know, I'll just live through him. Okay, that'll be fun. But yeah, we have him on the show today because he has a new book out, and he's going to share some incredible insight for us on his life and what it's been like, his journey. The book is called Alone in Plain Sight by Ben Higgins, and he's going to be with us in just a minute. Hey, I want to mention to you, speaking of love, romance, and finding that special person in your life, we have something going on right now over at Keep the Faith that is on fire. And I mean, it is on fire. We have literally thousands of women who have signed up and gone through this. We did this a few weeks back, and it was so incredibly successful that we're doing it again because we've teamed up with someone very special. This is someone who is an author, a speaker, but she's a matchmaker. Her name is Jackie Dorman, and boy, has she just lit up the charts, man. She is just on fire, and she has something called Married in 12 Months or Less, and she does this Married in 12 Months 5-day challenge. It's for women only. Sorry, guys, but it's for women only. And you can check it out at lovestories.com. That's where you'll find it. That's where you register for this. And you got to register in order to be a part of it because it's a private group. You know, the public can't see it. So it's a private group for those of you who sign up. And the cost is covered by us, by Keep the Faith, okay? Because we want you to find your spirit mate. We're making this available to you right now at lovestories.com. Check it out. It's Married in 12 Months or Less 5-day challenge by Jackie Dorman, now at lovestories.com. It just seems so appropriate to talk about that during this upcoming interview that I have with Ben. I mean, here we have one of the most, I guess, one of the most famous bachelors in the history of the franchise. Of the ABC franchise. He was so successful in The Bachelorette that then he was on The Bachelor. And then, you know what? He also did a third show, a reality show. What was that? It was Ben and Lauren, right? Happily Ever After. And I think that lasted a season. I think that lasted longer than their relationship did, actually. But no, he's in a new relationship now. It's exciting. He met this girl, this lady from here, Tennessee, Franklin, and it's pretty cool. He'll tell you all about it. So let's get to my recent interview with the one and only Ben Higgins. Hey Ben, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, really, really well.
So I understand you're in Colorado today.
Well, I typically am in Colorado. I am actually in Nowheresville, Mississippi today on a little drive with my fiance.
Well, good for you. So let's get right to the heart of it. First of all, welcome. And I'm a single guy here, so I just got to ask you, how in the world did you get on The Bachelor? What's the secret? I need to know the trick.
It's wild. The story in short, the very shortest version of the story is I moved to Denver, Colorado. Without knowing anybody, I had a job that I wasn't very good at. And the marketing director there kind of recognized that I just wasn't exactly happy. And one day she came out to me and she said, "Hey, I love watching The Bachelor. You're in the age range. You're single. You don't really love your job. Would you give it a shot?" And I said, "Well, if you sign me up, kind of walk me through the process, I'll consider it." And she did. And a week later they called and, I went on The Bachelorette, did that thing. And then after that, they asked me to be The Bachelor and I kept going from there. And that's where it spit me out today.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Somebody said, "Hey, you got the right look, the right demo, the right this and that," and then a week later, you're like in an audition, and they bring you on.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
That's right.
I mean,
life changes fast.
How many millions of guys are there in the country that have that same story? And I guess you just happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Man, I think I got very, I call it lucky. There's moments where I've questioned if it's luck or if it was everything but luck. But yes, right place, right time. And it was interesting. During the show, I got some advice, and the advice given to me was, "Hey, use this to enhance your life, not change it completely." And I really do believe that when I look back on it, it enhanced my life in some pretty incredible ways.
Where did you have the most fun? Being on The Bachelorette as one of the guys, or being The Bachelor?
Well, it's different kinds of fun. So The Bachelorette, you get, you get to kind of, it's like a fraternity. So it's a bunch of guys from all over the U.S., all over the world, really, and you're all hanging out in a house, just kind of hanging out most of the time. It's a blast. There's a lot less pressure, a lot less attention on you. The time is a lot less than when you're The Bachelor. Now, The Bachelor is interesting because then you become like the face, and more than they ever did. You can kind of pick and choose your battles. You kind of have control. You get to experience all of the show. And that part's fun, but I'd say the part that was really great for me was just hanging out in the house with some new friends, talking about life and getting to know them.
When you happen to be The Bachelor, how did that change?
Well, I mean, I think when you are the face of the franchise, there's a lot more pressure, a lot more attention's on you. Mm-hmm. There's a level, like, you're pulling 7 a.m. till 10 p.m., 11 p.m. days every day, all day long. And it's just a different kind of beast. It's more, I would say, it feels more like a job than anything else. It feels like you're kind of clocking in and clocking out. And that kind of takes the fun out of it. It's not so free.
I see. Okay. All right. So is it really as catty with the women as what we see on? I mean,
I think so.
Is it really? So
yeah,
this isn't all made up in the edit room. It really does exist.
Well, I've always said that, you get a bunch of people after one thing in one house living together for long enough, and drama is going to arise, and it does, and it comes out. And people are going to get irritable. People are going to get tired. People are going to get jealous, and the emotions come out when that happens. And so, most of the things that I watch on TV, yes, are edited down. They're shortened. They maybe are only showing the most fiery moments, but for the most part, it does happen.
See, you were on 5 years ago or so, right?
Yes.
Do you watch every season, or have you moved on, or is it like watching the NFL each week? Is this something that is still part of your life?
It is. I have a podcast with iHeartRadio that I still host, and so it is Bachelor focused, and so I do watch the show. I watch it through a different lens now. I try to watch every episode. I still enjoy watching it. There's seasons that maybe I don't get so far into. I really enjoy getting to know the leads, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that over the last few years, and so I can kind of watch their stories play out. So I have been watching, and I stay pretty involved.
So has anybody ever gotten married from being on The Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been a couple marriages, kids being born. It doesn't work every time. It works at a pretty low percentage. But when it does work, it's pretty incredible.
And you were actually engaged to the girl that you met up with on The Bachelor, right?
I was, yes.
Okay, so and that lasted a year or so. So and now you've got this wonderful new lady in your life, and which help me out here a minute, okay? So you had this TV engagement. A rush to the engagement, I guess. I mean, do you really learn about somebody enough to actually propose to them and go through all that versus what you've gone through this time around? How does it differ? The whole hey, will you marry me process?
Well, it differs in every way. The thing with the show is you do get to know somebody. And I do always say now, and I say this to the leads when they get off the show, is your dating, though, really begins once the show ends. Because when you're on the show, there's cameras and there's pressure and there's opinion and there's people around all the time. Now, when you're off the show, you kind of get to know the person. In the real world, you can take as much time as you need. You have unlimited amount of time to spend with them. There isn't other people involved. You can ask the right questions when it's appropriate instead of trying to have to force it at every single conversation that you have. I do think, though, you can get to know somebody well enough on the show. However, in my story, it wasn't until I was off the show, away from that, and I was able to get to know Jessica where, I could really fully be confident and peace-filled with the idea that, hey, we're going to spend life together and it's going to be awesome. That came by taking time, by spending the small moments together, by getting to understand her family and know her family. And that's where it really differs.
Looking back on it now, you've had a few years to reflect. What did you learn about that whole experience on being on The Bachelor, Bachelorette?
Well, a lot more about myself than I initially had thought I would. One of the things that happens on the show is you have a lot of time to dig in to yourself, a lot of questions that are asked of you about yourself. You have to be present in most moments. You have to be intentional in most moments. And I learned some of my weaknesses within that where, maybe I was dismissive or maybe I wasn't exactly as vulnerable or authentic as I care to be. I think those are things that just were great gifts from the show where I was able to be self-aware or introspective, and I'd had the time to do that. The also part of that is, you have a show that brings you from sitting in a cubicle in the bottom of a basement to being in the spotlight overnight. I mean, literally overnight. And I learned what it looks like. Honestly, I learned how unfulfilling fame was and how it wasn't a pursuit that was worth anybody's time or efforts, which has been a great gift to me personally, because I think if I would have never had the show, I would have always wondered, what would it be like to be known by the public eye? And now I've felt that, and I've seen that it is not what I want my journey in life to be.
For those folks who are real big fans of this franchise, what is the key to someone's heart? What's the key to winning it all?
Well, I think ultimately the key to it all would be the thing I've recognized now, which is, showing the ability to compromise, to choose each other through thick and thin, and also showing those characteristics as you date, is to say, I want to be your partner that doesn't add, a level of burden to your life. I want to be a partner that alleviates the burdens, that sits with you so you can converse and heal, and that, a partnership that's committed to each other. I think no matter where you are at in a relationship, I think those are the characteristics that stood out to me. For some others, it might be different. Maybe they want a little crazy in their life. Maybe they want a little excitement in their life. Maybe they want somebody to make their life a little harder because they feel like their life's been too easy. But for me, what I was looking for was somebody that would be a partner of mine, and we could do life together and do it in the healthiest of ways.
So you've written a book. The book is called Alone in Plain Sight. And it's all about searching for connection. First of all, why did you decide to write this book? And why is it important to, to find that connection?
Well, I wrote this book because a lot of my life, and I explain it like this, I felt like the kid looking in through the window at the party that I wasn't invited to, wishing I could be inside. And you could probably condense that and say I felt like the outsider. And so I started writing this book with the idea that, hey, if I feel like an outsider, I need to journal down these thoughts so that I can start to heal. What I recognized and realized, though, is as I wrote the book and as I told people about the topics of the book, the more people that I talk to, the more people I realize feel like outsiders. There's people out there in this world who feel alone, confused. They feel isolated. They feel lonely. And so this book is really a love letter to all of those people to say, is it true that you're alone? And if I can prove to you that you're not, what would that do for your life? How would that enhance your life? How would that free you up? How would that allow you to feel loved and be loved and then go and love others? That is what Alone in Plain Sight is. It's hopefully a book that allows the reader to feel less alone after reading it.
You know, it's interesting. We've gone through a period of extreme isolation over the last year, all over the globe. You know, we're dealing with something that we've never dealt with before. There's in our lifetimes, there's not a whole lot to compare it to or with. And of course, we get mixed messages all over the place. And I just know, we are actually launching something new here at lovestories.com, where we're bringing community together, specifically women, to really help them get through this time, single women. First of all, churches are shut down. There's really no singles ministries out there right now, that you can go to. Yeah. And, the whole online dating thing is kind of turned upside down because, a lot of people, they're afraid to go out of their house. If you're not into the bar scene, let's face it, a lot of states, even those places are shut down. It's a very confusing time right now to be single.
Yeah.
For somebody who has, been in the world of being, a celebrity single person, what advice can you give folks who have lived in that place of isolation and trying to navigate this world of singlehood over the last year, and they feel like they're alone and they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to, meet the man or the woman of my dreams? What encouragement can you give them at this point?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that because the book is broken up into 4 sections. The first is connection with self. And it talks about eliminating expectations and the shame and the guilt and labels placed on you. The second is connecting with others, the power of community, the power of friendship, the accountability, and the beauty that beholds. The third is about romance. And so what does it mean to be romantic? And there's 2 chapters within that section that I wrote about singleness. Because growing up in the church myself and being a Christian myself, I realize now looking back on it is I spent a lot of my life single, a lot of my 20s single. And the singleness always felt like within a church setting or even within my friend groups or my family, like a disease needing to be healed. It felt like I had a problem with me that other people recognized and were wondering how quickly I could cure myself of this disease that was singleness. And as I began to, as I began to grow and start to understand myself more, I realized that singleness is actually a beautiful gift at times. It allowed a lot of free time, a lot of time to be self-aware, a lot of time for me to dedicate myself into things that I was most interested in. And that has been something that I write about in the book, is to say, for anybody out there single and hoping to find a partner, anybody out there single and maybe not even interested in a partner, you still have value, you have purpose. And in fact, you might have some opportunities coming your way and opportunities in life that those who are in a romantic partnership don't have. I need single friends in my life because I need them to be able to dedicate themselves to me, and I need to be able to dedicate myself to them. What I want to do with the book is really kind of release the label that singleness is wrong or bad. Yes, it might not be desired, but it's not wrong or bad. In fact, it can be beautiful. And I want to point people towards what that beautiful part of being single can be.
Well, let's discover why, I know you address this in the book, why connection with others is, in fact, essential, and how shared pain can bridge even the widest gaps between two very different people. Talk to me about that.
There's a theory that came about. So I started writing this book with the idea that I was going to write a book to help people feel less alone. So I was writing this book with the outsider in mind because that's how I felt. Well, one thing I recognized, I was trying to find the connecting points. So what makes us human? There's two things that connect us, in my opinion, consistently, no matter what and where you've lived, grown up, or what your story is. That's that we're all going to die. We're all going to pass away from this life. And that's sad and heavy, and it probably scares a lot of people. I get that, but it's a truth. And so we got to recognize that we have that. And I speak about that in my section with a girl named Annie, where she was 22 years old. She was struggling struggling with cystic fibrosis. She was just declined her third lung transplant. And so when I actually interviewed her for the book, she had about 3 weeks to live. And I talked to her about what does it mean to know that life is but a breath and that life is being taken from you. The second part to that I've recognized is that the second connecting factor that we all have, no matter what faith you come from, no matter where you grew up or where you've been, is that we all have shared pains and shared sorrows. That yes, there's joys in this world, but some people could argue that they've never experienced true joy, and some people could argue that they've never experienced true hope. And so what I want to do is go beyond that and then say, what is it that I can look at you and connect with you on? Well, it's that we've all been hurt by something. Some people's hurts are worse than others, but we've all been hurt. We know the feeling of being disappointed. We know the feeling of feeling pain. And I think that actually bridges the gap, is when we start looking at people and we start looking at relationships, and saying, I know you've been hurt. I know your story has pain included. I want to come alongside of you and work through this stuff with you. That connects us, I believe, at some of the deepest levels we can ever go.
Tell me about a time that you really questioned yourself, questioned your value, questioned whether or not you were good enough for love.
Well, I think it's almost a theme in my life, right? I remember many times growing up where something really great would happen to me and I would feel inadequate. There's moments in my life where I've questioned, with my faith, especially, the common question that most of us ask is, how can God love me when I do this, and this? Those are just themes through my life. I could point out thousands of memories of through middle school, high school, college, my adulthood, where I felt like I've fallen short and I'm unworthy. And that's why, because it's a theme in my life, I believe it's also something that I want to confront. Because the truth of that is I believe I am loved. I believe there is a God that loves me. I know what love feels like now with my now fiance. I know that my when I'm weak, when I'm not healthy, I do feel unlovable. However, I know that's not the truth to my life. And so I want to confront it and then hopefully help others confront it as well, so that they don't live in a false reality that they're unlovable.
So tell me about your fiance. Where'd you meet?
Well, she's actually from Franklin, Tennessee. So I know you all are familiar with that. It's a great place.
Yeah, right down the road.
And I was in Nashville, Tennessee for a fundraiser. I was staying at the Hilton right downtown next to Bridgestone Arena. And there's a hockey team checking into the hotel. And I was like, I wonder what hockey team that is. So I went upstairs, clicked on location settings, because I figured that somebody that was taking a picture with this hockey team would have tagged them in the photo. And when I went on location settings, pictures from Bridgestone Arena popped up, and there she was. She was on my Instagram. I said, that girl is beautiful. And so I was single and I had time on my hands. And so I looked at her profile. I said, that girl is beautiful and she seems to have some incredible qualities. And so I waited a few months. Then I messaged her and I said, hey, if you are single, truthfully single, and if you're ever out in Denver, please let me know. She says, I am single, but I never go to Denver. So we just started talking and FaceTiming, and then one thing led to another. We had our first date, and we haven't not dated since.
So do you spend a lot of time in Nashville now?
We don't spend as much time in Nashville as we do Denver. She just recently moved out to Denver, but we're in Nashville. I mean, we've been in Nashville probably once at least every other month since we've been together. It's a good place. We enjoy coming, seeing her family. So yes, we are around.
That's good stuff. Well, so do you have a date?
We do. We're going to get married in November of this year, no matter what. If people are able to come to the wedding, that's going to be awesome. If people cannot come to the wedding, we are going to still get married. We're going to celebrate that. It's going to look a lot different than any of us ever dreamed of, but it's going to be still as special.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what are you doing now? Obviously you're doing your podcast, Almost Famous, which is with iHeart, but I understand that you co-founded a company called Generous International, a for-purpose company is what you call it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously right now, the focus in my mind is Alone in Plain Sight. It is a project that took a ton of time. It's a project I care about deeply and that I want others to join me on. So Alone in Plain Sight is kind of the main thing. But then, my full-time job is now with Generous International. And Generous came about because 11 years ago, my buddy started a nonprofit out of Central America focused on sustainable change and really alleviating some of the injustices placed on people in this world. Well, the organization is going really well, but we wanted to find a sustainable way to fundraise. So we came up with this idea that if we could find a few people who were willing and able to start this company with us, the owners of this company would sign off on the operating agreement that no profits will ever be consumed by the ownership group. So the value of the company or on the sale of each product, everything 100% will be donated to nonprofits and social causes around the world fighting human-facing injustice. So we specialize in coffee and apparel. Our coffee is specialty grade. It's all online. You can go and order it. It gets delivered to your house. Hopefully, if we do our job right, within 3 days. And so again, it's mostly coffee. So my little slogan is, if you drink coffee, why not make it life-changing coffee? Because 100% of that, of your purchase, of the profit of that purchase is being donated back. Last year date, we were able to donate about $30,000 to nonprofits and social causes, which is something that we're really happy about. And we're only 3 years old. So hopefully this year it's even more.
So the website where folks can find out more about that, what's the web address?
It's generouscoffee.com. You can go to generouscoffee.com and find our apparel, find our T-shirts. And, our T-shirts are made out of plastic water bottles by single mothers in Haiti. Our coffee is specialty grade, single origin. Everything is for purpose. And we try our best to really fight injustice facing humans, mostly within the realm of sex trafficking and poverty alleviation, by starting small businesses with them. It's been a really cool journey.
So your book, Alone in Plain Sight, let's just tell me, what are they going to learn, and why should they buy the book?
Well, what I hope that people get out of it. So if anybody's out there right now listening and they do feel lonely, or if they feel confused, or if they feel like they're lacking identity and purpose and value, I encourage you to pick up Alone in Plain Sight, because it's my story along with stories of others who I've come in contact with over the years on some of their struggles, their pains, their disappointments, how they've worked through them, how they see themselves today, or maybe they don't see themselves in any better of a light, and it's their stories as well. It's really for those people. It's the people that feel like outsiders, that feel confused, that feel misplaced, and are just looking for some resource to help them get back on track, or to help them see themselves in the way that God sees them. They can go to they can go to benhigginsbook.com. That's benhigginsbook.com and find the book. And I'm really hoping that when people read it, they go out and leave reviews, because I've really enjoyed reading the reviews. It helps me kind of get a feel and a touch on where people are at and how the book has affected them.
Well, Ben, this has been great, and I really appreciate the time. And you be careful driving out there. And I wish you and your fiance many blessings here in the months ahead. And please do, when you're back here in Nashville, both of you come over here, and we'll do it in right here at the homestead in studio, a follow-up interview, okay?
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for that insight and those bachelor secrets. I really appreciate it. And the book is called Alone in Plain Sight by Ben Higgins. It's available now wherever you get your book. So please do check it out. And please do check out lovestories.com. Once again, I told you about that before this whole thing, before the interview. And boy, look at all the people signing up. That's unbelievable. That's wow. Okay. I didn't know that many people listen to the podcast, but listen, just check it out, lovestories.com, and you'll hear all about the Married in 12 Months or Less 5-day challenge with matchmaker Jackie Dorman. It's gonna blow your mind, and I can't wait for you to do that. And by the way, we've made it so it's there's no charge. It's yours. It's our gift to you. So do check it out. Hey, this has been CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. And hey, if you get a chance, go check out our website at KeepTheFaith.com. We got all kinds of great music for you and programming, and it's fun. You can just go on there and click on whatever episode you want to listen to. Each one is like 50 minutes. It's one of those things that if you go out and walk like I do for an hour and a half a day, you can put on one of those episodes and listen to some great music and some great storytelling and some contagious encouragement. So check it out at KeepTheFaith.com. And of course, if you want a full slate of the interviews that we've done here at CIA, we have a special website for that. That's called ContagiousInfluencers.com. And you can just go on there, and there's, 120 episodes or something or close to it that you can choose from. And we've had so many great guests, and we really, really appreciate everybody who's been on the show and who's booked to be on the show. One more thing I want to mention to you is that if you know of somebody that you'd like to see or hear on the show, please do reach out to me. And maybe there's a very special contagious influencer in your local city that you feel should be right up there with a lot of the national people that we put on here. Somebody that's doing something really, really wonderful, really unique, and we want to acknowledge them. So contact me there through the website at contagiousinfluencers.com. This has been CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. I'm David Sams, and hey, we'll be back in a few days with another exciting episode. But until then, go out there and live that life in living color, because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living in black and white. See you next time.